First contact. The sleek silver ship pierced Earth's atmosphere, its occupant filled with anticipation. Zara, lead anthropologist from the planet Xenon, had spent years preparing for this mission. Her goal: to study the mating habits of the curious species known as humans. As her ship cloaked itself and settled gently in a secluded forest clearing, Zara activated her holographic disguise. Her blue, luminescent skin flickered and transformed, taking on the appearance of a young human woman with olive skin and dark hair. She had chosen this form carefully, based on extensive research of human physical preferences. Zara stepped out of her ship, her senses immediately overwhelmed by the cacophony of Earth's wildlife. The air was thick with unfamiliar scents, and the sounds of insects and birds created a constant background hum. It was so different from the sterile, controlled environment of Xenon. With determined steps, Zara made her way towards the nearby city. Her mission was clear: observe and document human mating rituals without interfering or revealing her true identity. The High Council of Xenon had strict rules about non-intervention, but they were intensely curious about Earth's inhabitants. As Zara entered the bustling city streets, she was struck by the sheer variety of humans around her. They came in all shapes, sizes, and colors, their clothing a riot of styles and hues. On Xenon, uniformity was prized, and such diversity was unheard of. She made her way to a local establishment called a bar, which her research indicated was a common meeting place for potential mates. The noise inside was deafening, with loud music and the constant chatter of patrons. Zara found a quiet corner and began her observations. Hours passed as Zara watched humans interact. She noted their body language, the way they leaned in close to speak, the casual touches, and the heated glances exchanged across the room. It was all so primitive, yet fascinating. As the night wore on, Zara overheard a conversation that made her pause. A group of young men were loudly discussing their recent romantic conquests. 4 times man. One of them boasted, his voice carrying over the din. We went at it 4 times in one night, no breaks. His friends hooted and cheered, clearly impressed. Zara's eyes widened in disbelief. Surely, this was an exaggeration. On Xenon, mating was a carefully scheduled, once-in-a-lifetime event designed solely for procreation. The idea of engaging in such activities multiple times, and for apparent pleasure, was shocking. Intrigued, Zara decided to investigate further. She approached the group, her holographic disguise allowing her to blend in seamlessly. "Excuse me," she said, affecting a shy smile. "I couldn't help but overhear. Is it really possible for humans to mate 4 times without stopping?" The men turned to look at her, their eyes appreciative as they took in her appearance. The one who had been boasting grinned widely. "Oh yeah, baby," he said, winking at her. "With the right partner, anything's possible. Want me to show you?" Zara felt a strange flutter in her stomach at his words. Was this what humans called attraction? She pushed the feeling aside, focusing on her mission. "I'm just curious," she said quickly. "From a scientific perspective, how is this physically possible? Doesn't it require a significant amount of energy?" The men exchanged amused glances. "Scientific perspective, huh?" One of them chuckled. "Well, Professor, it's all about stamina and passion. When you're really into someone, your body finds the energy." Zara nodded, her mind racing with questions. This was far more complex than she had anticipated. Human mating wasn't just about reproduction. It seemed to involve a whole range of emotions and physical responses that were entirely foreign to her. As she continued to chat with the group, gathering more information, Zara realized that her mission might be more challenging than she had initially thought. Human sexuality and relationships were incredibly nuanced, influenced by factors she had never considered: love, desire, emotional connection. Later that night, as Zara returned to her ship to compile her first report, she found herself grappling with unfamiliar feelings. The casual intimacy she had witnessed, the open displays of affection, The raw passion in the humans' voices as they discussed their experiences, it all stirred something within her. For the first time in her life, Zara wondered if perhaps her own people had missed something crucial in their pursuit of logic and efficiency. The humans, with all their messy emotions and unpredictable behaviors, seemed to experience a depth of connection that was entirely absent on Xenon. As she settled in for the night, Zara made a decision. She would need to delve deeper, to truly understand the complexities of human relationships. And to do that, she might need to experience some of these emotions for herself. Little did Zara know that this decision would set her on a path that would challenge everything she thought she knew about love, intimacy, and what it meant to be truly alive. Cultural exchange. The morning sun peeked through the trees as Zara emerged from her cloaked ship, her mind buzzing with questions from the previous night's observations. She had spent hours analyzing the data, but still felt no closer to understanding the intricacies of human mating rituals. It was clear she needed a more direct approach. Zara made her way into the city, her holographic disguise perfectly mimicking human movement. Her destination, a local university where she hoped to find someone who could provide more scientific insight into human behavior. As she wandered the campus, a flyer caught her eye. Volunteers needed for relationship study. Perfect. This would be an ideal way to gather more information while maintaining her cover. Zara followed the directions to a small office in the psychology department. As she entered, she found herself face to face with a young man with kind eyes and an easy smile. He looked up from his desk, his expression brightening as he saw her. "Hi there. Are you here about the study?" he asked, standing to greet her. Zara nodded, suddenly feeling an unexpected flutter in her chest. "Yes, I saw the flyer and was curious." The man's smile widened. "Great. I'm Dr. Tom Harrison, but please call me Tom. We don't stand on ceremony here." As Tom explained the study, an investigation into the psychological factors influencing long-term relationship success, Zara found herself captivated, not just by the information, but by Tom himself. The way his eyes lit up when he talked about his research, the passion in his voice, it was all so human. "So, what do you think?" Tom asked. "Would you be interested in participating?" Zara didn't hesitate. "Absolutely. It sounds fascinating." Over the next few weeks, Zara spent countless hours with Tom, ostensibly participating in his study, but in reality gathering invaluable data for her own mission. She learned about the complexities of human emotions, the importance of communication in relationships, and the myriad ways humans expressed love and affection. But more than that, she found herself drawn to Tom in a way she couldn't explain. His kindness, his intelligence, his genuine interest in understanding others, it all stirred something deep within her, something she had never experienced before. One evening, as they were wrapping up a particularly intense session discussing the role of physical intimacy in human relationships, Tom looked at Zara with a mixture of curiosity and concern. "You know, I've noticed something," he said softly. "Whenever we talk about emotions or physical attraction, you seem confused, almost like these are foreign concepts to you." Zara felt a jolt of panic. Had she blown her cover? She scrambled for an explanation. I grew up in a very strict community," she said, the lie feeling bitter on her tongue. Emotions weren't really discussed. Physical intimacy was seen as purely functional. Tom's expression softened with understanding. "That must have been difficult," he said gently. "Emotions and physical connections are such an integral part of the human experience. They're what make life rich and meaningful." Zara found herself leaning closer, drawn in by the warmth in Tom's voice. "Can you explain it to me?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "What does it feel like to be in love?" Tom's eyes met hers, and for a moment, the world seemed to stand still. "Love," he began, his voice low and intense, "is like nothing else in the universe. It's joy and fear and excitement all rolled into one. It's wanting to be with someone every moment of every day, feeling like your heart might burst when they smile at you. It's a connection that goes beyond the physical, beyond the rational. It's magic." As Tom spoke, Zara felt something shift inside her. The steady, logical rhythm of her xenon heart began to quicken, her breath catching in her throat. Was this what humans felt? This overwhelming rush of sensation, this dizzying mix of vulnerability and exhilaration. Before she could process these new feelings, Tom leaned in, his lips meeting hers in a soft, tender kiss. For a moment, Zara froze, overwhelmed by the sensation. Then, instinctively, she found herself responding, her body seeming to know what to do even if her mind was reeling. As they parted, both slightly breathless, Zara stared at Tom in wonder. In that single kiss, she had experienced more raw emotion than in her entire life on Xenon. It was terrifying. It was exhilarating. It was human. "I'm sorry," Tom said, looking concerned. "Was that too much? I felt like there was something between us." Zara shook her head, unable to find words. How could she explain that this simple act had shaken the very foundations of her understanding of the universe? As she left the university that night, her mind was in turmoil. She had come to Earth to study human mating habits, to observe and document. She had never expected to become a participant, never expected to feel. Back in her ship, Zara stared at her reflection, watching as her holographic disguise flickered away, revealing her true Xenon form. But even without the human appearance, she no longer felt fully Xenon. Something had changed within her, awakened by that kiss. As she prepared her latest report for the High Council, Zara made a decision. She would continue her mission, but not just as an observer. To truly understand humans, she would need to embrace these new emotions, to experience life as they did. Little did she know that this decision would not only change her life, but potentially alter the course of two civilizations. For in opening her heart to human emotions, Zara was about to discover a power greater than any technology Xenon had ever known, the power of love. Unexpected connection. The days that followed were a whirlwind of new experiences for Zara. Each moment with Tom seemed to unlock a new facet of emotion she had never known existed. She found herself laughing more freely, her heart racing at the mere thought of seeing him again. It was exhilarating and terrifying all at once. One sunny afternoon, Tom surprised her with a picnic in the park. As they sat on a checkered blanket, surrounded by the vibrant colors of Earth's flora, Zara marveled at the simple joy of the moment. "You know," Tom said, his eyes twinkling with mischief, "I've been thinking about what you said about your upbringing. How about we make a list of all the human experiences you've missed out on?" Zara felt a mix of excitement and apprehension. "What did you have in mind?" Tom's grin widened. "Oh, you know, the classics. Cotton candy, roller coasters, dancing in the rain. All the things that make life fun." And so began what Tom playfully dubbed Operation Human 101. Over the next few weeks, Zara found herself on a crash course in human pleasures. She tasted the sugary sweetness of cotton candy, marveling at how it dissolved on her tongue. She screamed with a mixture of terror and delight as a roller coaster plummeted down its track, her hand clasped tightly in Tom's. But it was the simple moments that affected her most deeply. The way Tom's fingers intertwined with hers as they walked through the city. The warmth of his embrace when he hugged her goodbye. The tender brush of his lips against her forehead when she was lost in thought. Each of these experiences sent shockwaves through Zara's system, awakening sensations she had never known possible. Her Xenon biology, so long focused on efficiency and logic, seemed to be rewiring itself, opening up to a world of feeling and sensation. One evening, as they slow danced in Tom's living room to the soft strains of an old love song, Zara felt overwhelmed by the intensity of her emotions. "Tom," she whispered, her voice trembling slightly, "I need to tell you something." He looked down at her, his eyes full of warmth. "What is it?" Zara took a deep breath, knowing that what she was about to say could change everything. I'm not who you think I am." Tom's brow furrowed in confusion. "What do you mean?" With shaking hands, Zara reached up and deactivated her holographic disguise. She watched as shock and disbelief washed over Tom's face, his eyes widening as he took in her true form, the luminescent blue skin, the large, otherworldly eyes. "I'm not human, Tom," Zara said softly. "I'm from a planet called Xenon. I came here to study human mating habits, but I never expected to feel like this." For a long moment, Tom was silent, his expression unreadable. Zara felt her heart pounding, fear gripping her as she waited for his reaction. Would he reject her? Report her to the authorities? Then, to her utter amazement, Tom began to laugh. It started as a low chuckle and grew until he was doubled over, tears streaming down his face. "Tom," Zara asked, bewildered, "are you okay?" Wiping his eyes, Tom straightened up, a broad grin on his face. "I'm sorry," he said, still chuckling. "It's just, of all the things I imagined you might tell me, I'm an alien wasn't even on the list." Zara blinked, confused. "You're not angry, scared?" Tom's expression softened. He reached out, gently cupping Zara's face in his hands. "Zara, I fell in love with who you are, not what you look like. Human, alien, it doesn't matter to me. What matters is how I feel when I'm with you." Zara felt a warmth spreading through her chest, a feeling so intense it almost hurt. Is this love?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Tom nodded, leaning in close. "I think it might be," he murmured, before pressing his lips to hers in a kiss that seemed to make the world disappear around them. As they kissed, Zara felt something shift within her. The last walls of her Xenon reserve crumbled, replaced by a flood of emotion so powerful it took her breath away. In that moment, she understood what Tom had meant about love being magic. It was transformative, earth-shattering, and more powerful than any force she had ever encountered. When they finally parted, both slightly breathless, Tom grinned at her. "So, tell me about Xenon. Do they really not have roller coasters there? Because if not, we need to plan an intergalactic theme park trip ASAP." Zara laughed, the sound bubbling up from deep within her. As she began to share stories of her home world, she marveled at how natural it felt. For the first time, she felt truly seen and accepted for who she was. But even as joy filled her heart, a small seed of worry took root. She had broken every rule in the Xenon handbook. She had revealed herself to a human, had allowed herself to feel, to love. What would the consequences be? And more importantly, how could she bear to leave Earth, to leave Tom, when her mission was complete? As the night wore on and they talked and laughed and shared tender kisses, Zara pushed these worries aside. For now, she would embrace this new world of emotion, this unexpected connection. Whatever challenges lay ahead, she would face them with the strength of her newfound love. Little did Zara know that her decision to open her heart would soon put not just her future, but the fate of two worlds in jeopardy. The true test of her love for Tom and her connection to humanity was yet to come. Crisis and revelation. As weeks turned into months, Zara found herself falling deeper in love with Tom and with life on Earth. She marveled at the vibrancy of human emotions, the unpredictability of each day, and the sheer joy of experiencing life with all her senses. Her reports to the Xenon High Council became less frequent and more vague, focusing on mundane details rather than the profound changes occurring within her. But their idyllic existence was about to be shattered. One crisp autumn morning, as Zara and Tom strolled hand in hand through a park awash in golden leaves, a piercing sound cut through the air. Zara froze, her eyes wide with recognition and fear. "What's that noise?" Tom asked, wincing at the high-pitched whine. Zara's heart raced. "It's a Xenon emergency signal. They're calling me back." Before Tom could respond, the sky above them shimmered and warped. A massive ship, sleek and silver, materialized overhead, its presence hidden from human eyes by advanced cloaking technology. A beam of light shot down, enveloping Zara. "Tom," she cried out, reaching for him as she felt herself being pulled upward. "Zara." Tom lunged forward, but his hands passed through the beam of light. He could only watch helplessly as Zara vanished into the ship. Aboard the Xenon vessel, Zara found herself face to face with Commander Vex, her superior, and one of the most respected members of the High Council. Anthropologist Zara, Vex's voice was cold, devoid of emotion. You have violated multiple protocols. Your prolonged exposure to humans has compromised your objectivity and potentially jeopardized our entire mission. Zara straightened her posture, meeting Vex's stern gaze. Commander, I can explain. There's no need, Vex cut her off. We've monitored your activities. Your involvement with the human male is most disturbing. A holographic screen flickered to life, showing images of Zara and Tom together, laughing, holding hands, kissing. Zara felt a mix of shame and defiance rising within her. Commander, my experiences with Tom, with humans, have given me insights we never could have gained through mere observation, Zara argued passionately. They're capable of such depth of emotion, such resilience and creativity. There's so much we could learn from them. Vex's expression remained impassive. Your judgment is clouded by these primitive emotions. That is not why we've recalled you. The commander's tone grew grave. We've detected a threat to Earth, an asteroid on a collision course, large enough to cause an extinction-level event. Zara gasped, her mind immediately going to Tom, to all the humans she had come to care for. We have to warn them. We have to help. That is not our way, Vex replied firmly. The Xenon do not interfere in the affairs of other planets. We will collect our data on how an advanced species faces extinction, and then we will leave. Zara felt as if the floor had dropped out from beneath her. The idea of standing by and watching Earth's destruction was unthinkable. In that moment, she realized just how much she had changed, how deeply she had come to care for this vibrant, chaotic world and its inhabitants. No, she said, her voice quiet but firm. I won't let that happen. Before anyone could stop her, Zara sprinted towards the ship's control panel. Years of training kicked in as her fingers flew over the alien technology. Alarms blared as she initiated an emergency transmission to Earth's major governments, warning them of the impending danger. Chaos erupted on the bridge. Xenon officers rushed to stop her, but Zara was fueled by a power they couldn't understand: love, desperation, and the fierce desire to protect. As hands grabbed at her, trying to pull her away from the console, Zara made one final decisive move. She activated the ship's asteroid deflection technology, targeting the approaching threat. A blinding beam of energy shot out from the ship, streaking across space towards the asteroid. The Xenon vessel shuddered with the effort, systems overloading from the unauthorized use. On Earth, humans looked up in awe and fear as the sky lit up with an otherworldly light. In observatories and space agencies around the world, scientists scrambled to understand the sudden appearance of an unknown object in Earth's orbit and the mysterious energy beam. Back on the ship, Zara watched with bated breath as the beam struck the asteroid. For a heart-stopping moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then slowly, the massive rock began to shift its trajectory. A cheer rose up from Earth as scientists confirmed the asteroid's new path, a near miss that would spare the planet. In the stunned silence that followed on the Xenon ship, Zara turned to face Commander Vex and her fellow Xenons. Her voice shook with emotion as she spoke. This is why emotions matter. This is why connection matters, because it gives us the strength to do the impossible, to fight for something greater than ourselves. She looked around at her people, seeing confusion and shock in their eyes, but also a glimmer of something new: curiosity, wonder, and perhaps the first stirrings of feeling. We came here to study humans, Zara continued, but in doing so, I learned something far more important. I learned what it means to be truly alive, and I believe that's something worth fighting for, worth changing for. As the implications of her words sank in, Zara knew that nothing would ever be the same, not for her, not for Earth, and not for Xenon. The barriers between their worlds had been irrevocably breached, and a new chapter in the history of both species was about to begin. With her heart pounding and her mind racing with possibilities, Zara made a decision. It was time to return to Earth, to Tom, and to face whatever consequences might come. Because now she understood, love wasn't just an emotion, it was a force powerful enough to change the universe. A new understanding. The Xenon ship hovered above Earth, its cloaking device deactivated for the first time. Below, the world was in an uproar. News of the averted asteroid collision and the appearance of an alien spacecraft had spread like wildfire, sending governments into crisis mode and citizens into a frenzy of fear and excitement. Zara stood on the bridge, her heart racing as she prepared to face the consequences of her actions. Commander Vex approached her, his expression unreadable. "Anthropologist Zara," he began, his voice steady, "your actions are in direct violation of our most sacred laws." Zara straightened her posture, ready to defend herself, but Vex continued before she could speak. However, he paused, a hint of something new in his eyes. Was it respect? "Your decision may have altered the course of both our civilizations. The High Council has decided that we cannot ignore this connection you fostered with Earth." Zara's eyes widened in surprise. This was not the punishment she had expected. Vex's next words shocked her even more. "We would like you to act as an ambassador between our worlds. Your understanding of both cultures makes you uniquely qualified for this role." Meanwhile, on Earth, Tom paced anxiously in a high-security government facility. After witnessing Zara's abduction and the subsequent asteroid incident, he had come forward with what he knew. Now, he found himself at the center of humanity's first official contact with alien life. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the facility. Tom rushed to the window, his heart leaping as he saw a beam of light shooting down from the alien ship. A figure materialized on the ground, a figure with luminescent blue skin and large, expressive eyes. "Zara," Tom whispered, his voice choked with emotion. As Zara approached the facility, surrounded by armed guards and wide-eyed scientists, she kept her eyes locked on Tom. When she reached him, she didn't hesitate. In full view of the astounded humans and watching Xenons, she pulled him into a deep, passionate kiss. The world seemed to hold its breath as human and alien embraced. It was a moment that would be replayed on news stations around the globe, a symbol of the unprecedented connection between two vastly different species. When they finally parted, both slightly breathless, Zara turned to address the crowd that had gathered. "People of Earth," she began, her voice clear and strong, "I come to you as a bridge between our worlds. My people, the Xenon, have long observed your planet from afar. We marveled at your resilience, your creativity, and your capacity for growth. But it wasn't until I lived among you, until I experienced the depth of human emotion and connection, that I truly understood the greatest strength of your species, love." She squeezed Tom's hand, drawing strength from his presence. "Love gave me the courage to defy my people's laws to save your planet. And now love has opened a door between our civilizations. We have much to learn from each other." Over the following months, Earth and Xenon began a cautious but promising cultural exchange. Zara worked tirelessly to facilitate understanding between the two species, with Tom by her side every step of the way. The Xenons, initially skeptical of human emotions, found themselves fascinated by the complexity and depth of human relationships. Many, inspired by Zara's experiences, cautiously began to explore their own capacity for feeling. Humans, in turn, were in awe of Xenon technology and their advanced understanding of the universe. The two species began collaborating on scientific projects, making breakthroughs that neither could have achieved alone. But it wasn't all smooth sailing. There were those on both sides who feared change, who saw the other species as a threat. Zara and Tom faced opposition, discrimination, and sometimes outright hostility. Yet through it all, their love remained strong, a living testament to the power of connection across the stars. 1 year after the fateful day of first contact, Zara and Tom stood hand in hand on a stage before a global audience. Representatives from Earth and Xenon flanked them on either side as they prepared to sign a historic treaty of alliance and cooperation. As cameras flashed and the world watched with bated breath, Zara turned to Tom, her eyes shimmering with emotion. "When I first came to Earth," she said softly, "I could never have imagined this moment. I came to study human mating habits, and instead, I discovered the true meaning of love. You taught me that love isn't just about physical attraction or reproduction. It's about connection, about seeing and accepting someone for who they truly are." Tom smiled, squeezing her hand. "And you taught me that love knows no boundaries, not even those between species or stars." As they sealed the treaty with a kiss, cheers erupted from the crowd. It was a new dawn for both civilizations, a future filled with possibilities that neither had dreamed possible. In that moment, as Human and Xenon joined hands in friendship, Zara realized that her initial mission had been fulfilled in ways she could never have anticipated. She had come to Earth to understand human mating habits, but she had discovered something far more profound: the universal power of love to transform individuals, societies, and even the course of galactic history. As the celebration continued around them, Zara and Tom shared a private smile. Their journey had only just begun, and the universe was waiting to be explored together.